Hello everyone, I'm Brior and welcome back to Good Game Empire. This is the live stream that so many of you guys have requested. It's been a while since I've done one of these. It was about 9 months ago since the last one. But you guys wanted more, and I'm nothing if not your humble servant. So if you weren't aware, a few months ago, YouTube actually put a strike against my account, and that prevented me from live streaming for about 3 months, but aside from that, I just haven't had the time to sit down and do one. YouTube put a strike on my account apparently for encouraging terrorism in one of my previous videos. I think it was a 3-year-old video. So if at any point today I encourage terrorism on today's live stream, please let me know in the live chat, because I'd really like to stop doing that. I think it's fairly important that I stop. One other thing that you could help me with if you are watching the stream live is to let me know if you can hear me. That'd be very helpful so I know that my audio is working. Well, I give the live viewers just a moment to go ahead and do that for me. I'll talk about what we're going to do on today's live stream. Now, as you can see, we are over here on the test server. I didn't suddenly drop in legendary level. No, this is the Empire test server. And what I wanted to show you today is the new Relic equipment. I don't actually know a whole lot about it, and in fact it's not on that screen, so that was a bad button to click. But we're going to speculate, and that's pretty much what we do on this channel regularly anyways, so why not do some in a live stream? Alright, audio appears to be good. So before I actually show you the new Relic equipment in the game, let me go ahead and back out real quick. You can see I've got 3 tabs right here, the test server, the regular server, and here on the forums. This is one of the only mentions of the new Relic equipment on the forums that I could find. And let me go ahead and read it for you. This is from the Q1 roadmap. New Relic equipment. Treasure hunters have discovered old relics buried beneath the battlefields of the Great Empire. Their craftsmanship is beyond compare, and power they bring to your armies could be the crucial difference between victory and defeat. Equipping your commanders and castellans with Relic equipment will provide exclusive effect bonuses to bolster your armies and your economy. These items don't carry any set bonuses, making it easier for you to customize your battle strategies and focus more on the effects of your choice. Relic equipment will be available with randomly generated, predefined effects, and their introduction to the game will coincide with an increase to your equipment and gem inventory capacity. So there's a lot of fluff in here, but there's also a lot of good things to be excited about. I'll talk more about those kinds of things in just a moment, but we'll go back over to the test server now, and let me show you at least 2 of the ways that you might be able to get Relic equipment. Again, we're on the test server. This hasn't been announced ever since this Q1 post on the forums. It hasn't come up in a monthly update post, so this, we have to assume, is a beta version of this new feature. Maybe when it actually makes it to the real servers, it won't look anything like what it does right now. But here we are, we're in our Alliance Forge. In order to test out this feature on the public test server, which of course you can join by going to the login screen, coming down to the bottom, and selecting your server, making it the test server. But in order to test out this new feature, you do have to be level 70, and that will take you maybe half an hour to level up with all of the resources, coins, and rubies the game will give you on the test server. Alright, but once you get to level 70, your Alliance Equipment Forge will look a little bit differently. You can get a limited amount of Relic equipment in the Alliance Smithy. Each use will increase the costs of the process, so you can choose to spend coins or, of course, rubies. Not too excited about the ability to spend rubies, but what can you expect? And of course, here on the test server, I've got plenty, and I don't care about these rubies at all, so we'll go ahead and spend a whole bunch of them today. In fact, let's do that right now. Forge equipment item, I'll click that once. We'll receive a pop-up, completed a daily task, and here is the piece of equipment that we got. Regular Courage. This is a weapon, actually. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a shield or whatnot, but its effects are plus 10.4% moot protection, 85.2% ranged unit strength, and 84.8 melee unit strength. While we're doing this, I might as well hop back into full screen. Alright, so what to make of this? Well, obviously, just from this one piece of Castellan equipment alone, you can get 85 and 85, so that's crazy. Let's go ahead and put this into a slot real quick. We'll just show us the same bonuses again right here. But as you can see, I've built another Castellan with pieces I got from the forge yesterday, and it's at 120% melee defense strength and 113% ranged defense strength. Of course, you'll notice that with these new pieces of equipment, there are new attribute caps. Max 120, max 120. That's going to be a game changer. Of course, the previous maximums were 90 and 90. However, with some sets, with the hero or with set bonuses or other tricks, you could exceed those caps. However, if Good Game Studios is planning to make adjustments to the attribute caps, that will be very interesting indeed. You'll also start to see some new attributes on the heroes at least. You can see the economy effects there. Plus 54 market barrel capacity and minus 151% recruitment time. So lots of stuff going on here. Before I go into detail and elaborate on my thoughts, again, I don't actually know that much. This hasn't been officially announced. Let's go ahead and make some more pieces of equipment, shall we? And of course, each time this gets more expensive. Time Worn Pride, it's a helmet, some melee, wall, and wall. So what I'm noticing so far, just from having done this a couple times, and again, this might not actually be the case, but it seems that weapons, or at least pieces of equipment that go in the weapon slot, tend to give melee and range. Let me check if that's true real quick. I did get another weapon here. Yeah, this had a lot of ranged and melee strength as well, so it might be the case in the future that depending upon what piece of equipment you get, whether it's a helmet or a breastplate, artifact, weapon, hero, etc., that will determine the various stats that you can expect to have come along with that piece of equipment. Now, when I read that forum post, we confirmed, well, at least a few months ago at least, that Good Game Studios was planning to not introduce these new pieces of equipment as sets. That might change in the future. It might already have changed. We don't know. But I like that a lot. One of the problems with equipment, at least in my experience and in my opinion, on the regular servers, is that there are way too many predefined sets. And it gets to a point where you can say, oh, such and such amount of courtyard, that has to be the Blood Crow commander, and then you would set up your defenses accordingly. And it gets boring when every attack comes in with the same commander, let's say the summoner, because it's one of the most powerful, and it just gives you extra information to set up with. And I think the game would be a lot more interesting if we returned to custom combinations of equipment, and that appears to be what we're doing here with this new Relic equipment. I'll go ahead and spend some coins instead. And if you can expect to get melee and range from your weapon, and then let's say wall and gate from your chest piece, that will facilitate custom combinations of equipment. It will be a little bit less random, because you know that whenever you're looking for that troop strength, you need a weapon, and you can count on the weapon to do that, if that makes any sense. I am getting quite a lot of heroes. It was my hope to maybe complete a commander set on the stream, but I'm not sure if we'll get to do that today. Here's a gem. It's worth noting that there are gems that come out from the Relic equipment. This one has 5% extra flank space when attacking NPCs, 11% extra melee against NPCs, and 5% extra wall, or reduced wall rather, against NPCs. Pretty interesting. Now, the Alliance Forge is not the only way that you can collect this new equipment. If you come into the Adventure Quests panel, again, this is only on the test server right now, you can see a new quest called Relics of the Princesses. Now, the Queen's Defense We know what that looks like. The King of Shadows is, of course, the Shadow King questline, but this new one, it's only 4 quests, and you can see that it offers randomized pieces of relic equipment, and that corresponds to what we read earlier in the forum post. So this means that, unlike unique equipment, it doesn't appear like you'll be able to purchase known values from anywhere, from the events, let's say. That I'm a little bit less enthusiastic about. And again, I suspect that is something that might change further on down the line, because of course when you think about how equipment was originally added in the game, it used to be just basically all the way up to legendary equipment that you would loot and make custom combinations with, and then they slowly started introducing unique equipment pieces with the Nomad Invasion, the Blade Coast, and so on and so forth. It's loading very slowly because I'm streaming and I've got the game open in 2 tabs, oh well. But then over time, Good Game Studios introduced unique equipment, and then after they had done that, they introduced 5-piece sets, and then 9-piece sets. Somewhere along the line, look pieces came into play, and so equipment really grew over time, and in the process, Good Game Studios made a lot of money, because of course equipment started to get stronger and stronger. So maybe they're hoping to do something similar with the new relic equipment pieces, but it's hard to tell. We don't even know what it will look like when it comes out in the game. Now, one concern that many players, myself included, have with this new relic equipment is that it will completely devalue existing equipment in the game. That looks like it might be the case. Now, I have recently I saw a screenshot that seemed to suggest, for Castellan equipment at least, that there would be some adjustment to the attribute caps. We've already seen the melee and ranged combat strength, but there might be some... Why am I only getting heroes? That's annoying. Wow. But there might be some adjustment downwards. In the screenshot that I saw... Oh, only heroes. Wow. Let's see how long you can keep this up for. Alright, that's a gem. It's a Castellan gem. Great. Another gem that's dedicated specifically to NPCs, which is interesting because it's a Castellan gem. I don't know if I like that. I mean, the only NPC that routinely attacks would be the con camp, I guess. Anyways, what was I saying? There might be some adjustments of stats downwards. The stat that I saw that seemed to be nerfed, so to speak, was wall space. The screenshot showed that you could have up to 50%, 50, extra troops on the wall from your equipment. Now, compare that to what players have now when they're putting 800, 900 units on the wall, and they've bought a whole bunch of Eagle Demon gems. Let me see if I can find them. The equipment trader has to be here. And they've put a whole bunch of either Fly's Eyes or Eagle Eyes onto their Castellans, and they've put a lot of troops on the wall. So the question is, with new relic equipment, if it's limited to 50% extra troops on the wall, would it be stronger than the original equipment? And that remains to be seen, of course, but with that 120% combat strength bonus that we talked about earlier, the answer may very well be true. Or may very well be yes, rather. Alright, I think I just went past it. But we can find it here. 1 million. Is it not here? Huh, I don't know. Yeah, so anyways, there's also something to consider when we take a look at the Castellan hero, and we see that it offers the economy effects that we talked about earlier. You wouldn't get that with regular equipment. However, you could just ordinarily have the Relic hero equipped and then take it off, and then replace it with your ordinary equipment that would be stronger, theoretically, if an attack came in. But overall, I think that maybe Good Game Studios is using this new tier of equipment to rein in some bonuses, to put reasonable amounts of troops back on the wall, but also to give players the ability to get more melee and ranged combat strength, which will give them enough of an incentive to use this new Relic equipment. Now, if you guys who are watching the stream have any thoughts, I'd be happy to read them, so you can leave them in the stream chat if you wish. In the meantime, I'll keep working on getting some new equipment. 5% extra travel speed, 80% moat protection, 115% gate protection. Interesting. Now, one thing that I've observed and that I have questions about but no answers for is what those stars are. So you'll notice that some attributes here, like the 115% gate protection reduction, I mean, that's very strong, of course, but then 5% travel speed? And the 5% travel speed on this particular piece of equipment is 3 stars. I don't know what to make of that. Now, one other question that I have is what will happen to, let's say, pieces of equipment like, let me scroll through real quick, the Phoenix, which you can see has this little 5 in the top corner. And here's another version of that set with a 1. And throughout my inventory, you can see other pieces that use these new power rarity things that were never really explained, never really came into play in the game. Now, Good Game Studios last fall told us that they would introduce a fusion forge for equipment, kind of like the decoration forge. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate it, or maybe I will be able to in 18 minutes, but I don't think I'll be streaming that long. They said that they were going to introduce a new fusion forge for equipment, but then, during the live stream, they seemed to indicate that that feature was not going to come out anytime soon. Now, with the new blue equipment, if that gets added, that's a whole nother tier of equipment. Obviously, it wouldn't mesh with the power level equipment that we just took a look at. And in fact, it appears, and I can test this over on the test server real quick, that you can't even mix and match between blue equipment and regular equipment. Let me see if I have a regular piece of equipment. Alright, so I've got this hero here, the Blade Dancer. Can I take this piece of blue equipment and equip it? No, I cannot. I can put it with other blue equipment. So there you go. So that of course is a smart move by Good Game Studios, because they wanted to prevent previously unheard of combinations or unplanned combinations. You know how many times that those have come into the game. They add a new set and it magically combines with one of the previous sets to create something that's ridiculously strong because they don't properly test it. So yeah, that was a smart move. Anyways, what do you guys think? The star represents the level of how good either the gem or equipment piece is. Sure, but what does that mean? So if I mean, we looked at it earlier and we said that 5% travel speed was 3 stars. Now, of course, I think the regular limit for travel speed with normal equipment is something like 80 or 90. So 5%, that can't be very good. Or if it is very good for this new equipment, what am I looking at? If it is very good for this new equipment, then this new equipment is not very good and will not replace the old equipment. Pre-battle effects, 80%. Do you think this will end up replacing normal commanders and castellans? Well, yes, I think that's the intention. If it doesn't, then I'm not quite sure why it's being added to the game, although in fairness, Good Game Studios has added a lot of silly things recently, including with this latest update. Let me see if I can find this. This was humorous to me. April update notes. I don't think I'll make a video on this because it's not substantial, although I said that last month and ultimately I made a video. Relic woodcutter. So you need to be spending upgrade and construction tokens on this, and it produces and stores wood. Yeah, let's take a peek on the test server, because they've added it here. It's in the civil buildings, of course. Here it is. Relic woodcutter. It offers over 1,000 might points produces 150 units of wood, and that's all. And it stores extra wood as well, but of course you have to upgrade it to get that going. Yeah, there we are. So at its maximum level, which is 20, 15,000 extra wood storage capacity. Now the only way that would be useful is if Good Game Studios adds buildings that require more than 81,000 wood or stone to construct. However, no level 70 player who's good still has wood and stone buildings in their castle. If you do, then you need to demolish them, because that's just eating up your food production. And no level 70 player is going to be interested in building the new Relic woodcutter. So I'm not quite sure why Good Game Studios invested time into coming up with the art for this new building, and then said to themselves, not only should it cost regular resources, but we should make it cost upgrade tokens and construction tokens, which everybody is already spending on their Relic greenhouses and their encampments and their barracks and everything else. Nobody in the game right now has enough Relic or construction tokens, and so that's what we should make them spend to get the Relic woodcutter. You'll notice that at level 20 at least, it does offer some public order. Let's see how far you have to upgrade it to get to that public order. To level 16. So we don't know what the cost of this building is going to be yet in terms of upgrades, although we can see it will require 60 construction tokens just to build it level 1, which is already too expensive. So nobody's going to be upgrading this to level 16 to have it replace a decorative item, because that's what somebody in my Discord server said. They said, well, at least it'll be useful as a public order replacement, because you'll get public order, right? Well, I said, no, until you upgrade it to level 16. Anyways, I think we got off track there. But I don't know what Good Game Studios is doing sometimes. Yeah, so anyways, I think what I'll do now, I think I've exhausted what I had to say about the Relic equipment. Other than that, it's kind of interesting. You can check it out for yourself, again, on the test server, but you need to get to level 70. It looks like with just a few pieces of equipment, you could have a really strong commander or castellan. However, most players will probably need to get many, many, many pieces before they actually have a good combination. And heightened attribute caps, some reduced attribute caps. Remains to be seen what exactly that will have in terms of implication for the game. Good Game Studios, in my opinion, has a really good opportunity here to change it up, add something interesting. However, the risk, as we talked about earlier, is that it diminishes the value of all of the existing equipment in the game that players have either spent a lot of money on or they've put a lot of time into. And let's say some player just bought a Winged Knight Castellan and 4 gems from the Eagle Demon set, right? That's a lot of rubies. And the reason that they did that was to exceed the attribute cap for, or actually there is no attribute cap for wall space. Now is that Castellan going to be useless? And if so, are they going to get a refund? Last time, when Good Game Studios had to give out refunds, that didn't go so well. That was back when they changed the equipment system so that gems were counted under the attribute caps. Anyways, we'll see. Not a whole lot of information out about this quite yet. If stuff does get posted to the forums before April, if more stuff comes out, then I will do an April updates video. I'll talk more about Relic equipment in the future, I'm sure. Unless, of course, the entire thing gets scrapped. But I don't think Good Game Studios will put that much effort into coding and making artwork just to throw it away. So I guess what we'll do now is we'll just check to see if any of my fortresses or dragons are up for grabs. I'll take one last look at the chat to answer any questions you guys have, and then we'll probably wrap this one up. Normally I like to keep the live streams fairly short. I suppose while I'm waiting for any questions or comments from you guys, I can talk about what plans I have for the channel. I've got a whole bunch of video ideas that I'd like to push through in the near future. I'm working on another episode of Quick Tips, specifically for PvP tips. I'm also working on a video about how Good Game Studios might go about fixing PvP in the game, because 86% of you agreed, according to a poll that I ran on my community tab, that PvP is broken with things like outpost captures from low-level players and the like. And of course, short horns, tool burners, all of that, I think you could argue, while it may very well be a legitimate strategy in the game, as the game is right now, the game would be better without it. And I think Good Game Studios has done a lot of things in the past 6 months even to make PvP worse. So we'll talk about that in the near future. I'm planning another video on Grim Dawn. I know that some of you don't like to hear that I'm branching out from Good Game Empire, but I am. And it will become more of a thing on the channel soon. Not necessarily Grim Dawn, but other games. And beyond that, I have a few episodes of audio only planned as well. An Outer Realms video. Now, I am in the Outer Realms. Let's see if this works. Oops, that's the Blade Coast. Oh, did Outer Realms just end? No, we're on the test server. There we are. Let's take a peek. I have not done anything this month, really. But I did create an account, and maybe I'll be getting some construction and upgrade tokens as a result of having done so. Will there be a video on it is another question. I don't think so, and that's for two reasons. Number one, I'm not enthused by the Outer Realms event. I've never played it. In order for me to give you advice, I would have had to play it myself, learn. You know, I don't necessarily start out with more information than you guys have. But the other reason is every month they change this event. They just, again, in the April update notes, here we go. Outer Realms 4.0. And for how long has this been in the game? Like 6 months? And now they've got an entirely different ranking system, so you can pause the video and read it, or go on the forums, of course. But if I were to make a video tutorial for the Outer Realms, then chances are the event would be entirely different next month. So no, I don't think an Outer Realms video is in the future. My advice for the moment is just enter the event, do the bare minimum, see where you land on the rankings, because you can get some good rewards from just opening an account there. What's the deal with resources and rubies on the test server? How are they easier to acquire? That's a good question. Well, upon turning, I think it's level 6, you get a gift with lots of stone, wood, coins, rubies, etc. And then from day to day, a blue gift box will pop up, and that will give you more resources to play around with. The only thing that's annoying is unlocking buildings. You, of course, have to level up to do that. So if I wanted to upgrade my Hall of Legends, well, now I've got to level up to level 70, legendary level 2, so I've got to find a building or a quest that can do that for me, etc., so on and so forth. But they give you lots of time skips as well. I've received a few questions about why there aren't any events running on the US 3 server. And I think that's because it's just a PvP server for now. Either that or Good Game Studios forgot about it, but they never really mentioned it on the forums. And the status on the war in US 1? Well, I just released a video about an hour ago on that, and it seems to be going pretty well for my alliance. We did, however, lose Royal Tower, which I was not enthused about. However, Grumpy King, which was one of the alliances on the other side, dropped out yesterday. We have quite a few players under the bird on the other side of the war, and we're capturing more property every day, including a metro the other day that wasn't captured, but that moved when a player left the Kingdom of Nef and joined the Misk. So for a lot more information on the server war, you can check out my latest video. And with that, I think we will go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching this live stream. I apologize if it was a bit rough or a bit boring. Of course, with live streams, that's how it tends to go. They're easy for me to do because I sit down and have it done within the course of an hour. No editing or anything like that. But Of course, it's a live stream, so the production value isn't quite as high. However, this was highly requested, so I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. Anyways, that's going to do it from me. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Brior, and as always, I'll see you next time.